William RUTO, you need to know, the Americans want to know why you are working with Al-Shabaab. Why, when you are in Mandera, you met 3 leaders of the Al-Shabaab militia at night to discuss business with them. They want to know why. They also want to know why you have removed the requirement for vetting of non-Kenyans before they are given IDs. The Americans are concerned that suspected terrorists will be registered as Kenyans and they will find their way to America and the rest of the world and create terror in the world. Your decision to suspend vetting of foreigners before they are given registration in Kenya is a threat to world security. And not just the Americans are concerned, Kenyans are concerned too. And this you must answer. You cannot endanger the security of the world because of your business interest. It is true you are doing business with Al-Shabaab, but you cannot endanger world security. The Americans also want to know why, against the Kenya Constitution, you have become the worst violator of human rights in Kenya. Why are you abducting young children? Why are you killing young children? Why did you abduct American, Turkey nationals of American origin who were abducted and disappeared? These are things that are in the radar of the American security system. You can play around with people in Kenya, but you cannot play with the American government. They have you on the radar. And the evidence is everywhere. And you cannot run away from it. So please, don't hide behind China. You know, sisi tumezoea kukibiswa nyumbani na kasongo na tiagas. So when we have wonderful people around us, full of smiles, loving us, appreciating us, we are feeling on top of the world. I wish I had more time here. Unfortunately, I have to leave early in the morning. But I'll be back. I'll be back. Yeah? I've really loved this city and the people. You are wonderful people. You are very welcoming. I deserve to spend more time with you because it's a rare opportunity. Secondly, let me thank you, our great people from Kenya, for being united, for staying together and loving one another. That is the Kenyan spirit, and that is my wish. And I'm very happy since I came to the US more than a month now. Wherever I have gone, I've found Kenyan people. They love one another and they stay together. I am very encouraged, and that is the message I'm sending back home, telling our people what I have found in the United States, that our people are one, our people love one another. And I want to encourage you to continue loving one another, staying together, be your brother's keeper. Let us hold each other's hand and let us live in peace, harmony, and love, because that is the right thing to do. Why is Rick G in America? Rick G has come to the United States to listen to the ground, because I believe no leader can succeed unless you align with your people. And the only way to align with your people is to listen to them. That is where Kasongo has lost it. He forgot he was elected by people. He doesn't listen to them anymore. And even when there is issues, he doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn. I belong to the school of thought that continuous engagement is a hallmark of good leadership. So I came to the States to listen to the ground. Hapa Midwest munasemaje?
One time.
Ati munasemaje?
One time.
Hapa ndio munasema?
Yes.
Kasongo ni one time. Mumeamua? Museme na sauti kubwa asikie akiwa nyumbani. Ati munasemaje? Thank you very much. I've come because the people who live in the United States are part of Kenya. And they, like other Kenyans, care about home. And more than anybody else, the people living here are troubled by what is happening at home. They are anxious, they are fearful, they are worried. And I came so that I brief you as to what is going on back home. And I tell you the few ideas that we have of what we need to do. And I plead with you to walk with us in that journey, to liberate our country, to restore our dignity, to restore our country, and to make sure that we have a beautiful country that we call home. Because at the end of it all, east or west, I have no doubt in my mind that all of you in this hall and all of the Kenyan people across the United States and elsewhere have a plan one day to go back home. Is that true? Yes. And you want to go to a home that preferably better than where you are. So it is your concern, it is your prayer that home works, systems work, there is a peaceful environment to do business, there is security, there is healthcare, there is education, so that when your days come and you need to come back home, you can leave your children here continuing with your investments and retire back home to a very peaceful retirement, and that is what all of you would wish. I am aware sufficiently that you know what is going on at home, because you people do a lot of work back home by supporting families, and therefore on a daily basis you are in conversation with the people back home, and you, like all of us, are concerned about what is going on at home. And before I go into serious things, on a light note, cousin Omari, ako wapi Omari? Amenda? Where is Omari, the guy who is married in Lemuru? Omari? Omani. Where is he, the guy who is married in Lemuru? So when you see him, you tell him, traditionally, and I think that's why he has left. I think somebody from Mulima must have sold me. Because I wanted to tell him, traditionally, all the girls are my daughters. Yes. And payment of dowry is a life thing. So anytime you meet your father-in-law, you must. So I had hoped to kutana naye nyuma ya hema anipatie kitu in dollars because of having my daughter from Lemuru. Let me say this with a light touch. Let me say this. Back home, it's tough. There are tears. There is anguish. There is fear. There is uncertainty. Our children between the ages of 15 to 24 are being abducted and killed by the state. More than 200 kids since 2024 have been abducted, tortured, and killed, and others have disappeared. Parents worry. When you don't know where your child is, you cannot sleep. If you call your child and the phone is off, you are worried. And the situation has been worsened. That Kasongo and his boys have now gone berserk, and they no longer fear, and they no longer pretend. The CS in charge of Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, in broad daylight, gave an order to police to shoot, to kill. A week later, Kasongo himself, shamelessly, in total impunity and total disregard of the Bible teaching that thou shalt not kill, in total violation of the Kenyan Constitution, publicly announced that our children should be shot in the leg. The chairman of the National Assembly Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations, Nelson Koech, corrected Kasongo very angrily that the kids should not be shot in the leg, they should be shot in the head. That is the situation we face as a country, where in total disregard of the Constitution, against biblical teachings, a president of a country elected by the people has the audacity to give orders for the extermination of our children. That is why Kenyans are saying, Bwana Kasongo, even if you pipe milk to our homes, even if you build roads made of gold, even if you paid us every day 100,000 shillings, your hands carry the blood of our children, and there is no way we can vote for you. And that is why the one-term movement is now like a religion in Kenya. Everywhere you go, where 2 or 3 are, that is the discussion. In the Uber, in the salon, in the matatu, in the bar, the discussion in the country is that this man must go because his hands bear the blood of our children. I want to say that this situation cannot be allowed. And since he is not pretending anymore about the killing of the children, he has announced it himself. The people of Kenya have no choice but to make sure they send him home and remove him from office through an election. And that is what is going on. Besides that, the economy is on a nosedive. Pending bills, people who worked with the government for many years, he has refused to pay them. They are owed more than 900 billion Kenya shillings. If you look at the Nation newspaper every morning, there are about 10 to 12 pages of auctions of properties being sold belonging to businessmen who did work for government and they have not been paid for the last 3 years. The only consolation is that nobody is buying the property because nobody has the money to buy it. So they keep on re-advertising every week because There is nobody who has money to buy the properties. William Ruto found a working education system. President Mwai Kibaki, the third president of the Republic of Kenya, the greatest leader of our time, brought free primary education, and President Uhuru Kenyatta improved it by extending to secondary schools and also bringing 100% transition from primary to secondary school. He found a working university financing model and a help, a working system most of you went through, including I, that he put it aside and brought something that is not working. As we speak, many university students are at home. They cannot access university education. Most principals of secondary schools and head teachers of primary schools are living in fear and in hiding because of being auctioned. The schools are being auctioned because they have not paid suppliers, because money meant for capitation has not been provided by government. So the education system is facing near collapse. The health system, and you people here in America know how important and critical a working health system means to our people. He found a system called NHIF that was struggling but working, that needed improvement. The people at NHIF had come up with a program that needed 800 million Kenya shillings to reform it and make it workable and compliant with the present times. Kasongo came and discarded that system and brought something called SHA and SHIF at a cost of 104 billion Kenya shillings, money that he is stealing with his cronies. And despite stealing all that money, the system is not working. And you people know that because you have parents back at home. You know when they go to hospital, they cannot get their bills paid by insurance. Again, that is something that he has destroyed. He came up with something called the housing levy, ostensibly to construct affordable houses for the people of Kenya. It is not the work of government all over the world to construct houses. Governments put up roads, water, electricity, drainage, sewage. It is the work of the private sector to construct houses. But he has put it by force because he has business interest in company with some Asians to supply cement, steel, and iron sheets. So the whole affordable housing scheme is about corruption. It's about conflict of interest. Again, you find in agriculture, all the sugar factories have been sold to Asians in partnership with Kasongo. Last week, despite us having rice in Mwea and Ahero that has not been bought, that is in the stores, he has authorized the importation of 5,000 metric tons of rice, duty-free, that will come and kill the rice farmer in Mwea and Ahero. So you find, because of state capture, the president is in business in every sector. He is competing with every other businessman. And because of his advantage as president, he has killed all other business people. He's doing all the businesses in Kenya. I remember when we came into office, there is something called e-Citizen. It was an app that was being operated by some private people and doing some little work for government. And when he came, he brought a lot of issues saying it is wrong for anybody in the private sector to collect money on behalf of government. And he said the Ministry of ICT must take up e-Citizen. Little did I know, he wanted the owners of e-Citizen to come into the open. So when they came, he negotiated with them, took 80% of the business and said they should continue, and ordered all government services to be onboarded through e-citizen. Out of every 5 shillings that is paid through e-citizen, he pockets 3. That is not enough. The Auditor General has reported more than 10 billion shillings collected through e-citizen cannot be traced. So what is happening in Kenya is that we don't have a government. What we have is a criminal enterprise, theft of public funds, where the president has taken over all the businesses in the country. He's the chief procurement officer, he's the chief accountant, he is a supplier, he is everything. And nobody can ask a question. And that now brings me to explain to you why we fell out. I believed this man because he came with a Bible, and I'm a Christian. I'm the husband of a pastor. So when you come with a Bible and say you are saved, I believed this man. And all the things he told me and told the people of Kenya, we believed. I did not even have an MOU with him. We never wrote any agreement. I believed everything he told me. But when we arrived in government, it's a one-man show. He makes all the decisions. And all these decisions are selfish. It's about him. He's a businessman. He doesn't care for the country. And I started telling him this is wrong. Within a very short time, he captured Parliament. Parliament cannot ask a question. He captured the Senate. They cannot ask a question. He compromised all institutions of oversight. Nobody can ask a question. The only person who remained who could ask a question was Tinga, Raila Odinga. And he told me, we'll look for this man. He loves money. We'll give him some money. He'll also keep quiet. And sure as December 25 is Christmas. I'm telling you, just as sure as December 25 is Christmas, the way Osinde has explained, the man is eating and hence observing table manners. He cannot speak, his mouth is full. So the two are one and the same. And you know, sometimes we were debating. Okay, William Ruto is a great mistake. It's a mistake we have to live with. We made a mistake. I made a mistake. And I have apologized to the people of Kenya. But what was the alternative? Had we elected Raila Odinga, the same thing would have happened. The two would have crossed ranks. They start eating together the way they are doing today. So we are just saying Kenya was presented with two unpleasant choices. There were two hyenas, but they were different. One without teeth and one with teeth. And I think to a certain extent, President Uhuru Kenyatta was right. Probably we should have gone for the hyena without teeth, because it will not finish us in one day. Yeah? Si ingetukula pole pole. Sasa mimi Rigathi Gachagua decided to go for the hyena with the teeth, and it started with me. So somebody was telling me, much as I sympathize with you, nafikiri ni sawa, hii fisi iko na meno ilianza na wewe, ndio sasa ikujie, si? So yesterday I heard David Morathe saying that Jubilee can support Raila Odinga if they abandon William Ruto. Raila Odinga and William Ruto are birds of the same feather. None of them is an alternative. We must get rid of the two because they are Kenyan's problem. So when he bought Raila Odinga and he kept quiet, then he started stealing everything in the country, started killing people, and I disagreed with him. And I was left as the only option now to fight for the people of Kenya from within government. Everybody else had been compromised. I was left alone. And I started fighting from within. So when he decided to kill our children, the Gen Z, I said no. And when he insisted and killed them on June 25th, 2024, I went to Mombasa and called a press conference as Deputy President and told him off. And that was our parting shot. We never talked again from that day. We would only communicate in messages because I called him out publicly for killing our children. If Rigathi Gachagua was a selfish man, I would have agreed with William RUTO, like Raila. We sit and eat, then we finish the country. Today I'll be a very wealthy man. I would have joined him in all the deals. E-Citizen, we do. Fuliza, we do. Medical equipment, we do. Because he was willing to let me eat so that I keep quiet. He was quite happy. In fact, he told me, we wacha mambo mingi bana. We kuja tukule bana. Hii Kenya ni yako. Hii Kenya ilikuliwa na Kenyatta bado isha, ikakuliwa na Moi bado isha, ikakuliwa na Uhuru. We shida yako ni gani? You know? Had I been just another Kenyan, like the Kenyans I see, if I was like Raila Odinga, a selfish person, I would have agreed with William RUTO. I stay as Deputy President. I enjoy the privileges, there are many, and we eat. We finish the country. We let the children die, and I just sit there. But my conscience wouldn't allow. I am not a wealthy man, but I'm not a poor person. And I don't need money myself. My children are big, they are working. My wife is here, is a pastor. Nywele yake hata haihitaji 3,000. So, what reason would I had to join William RUTO in a gravity train to finish our country, to steal everything? I said no, and I paid for it, and I'm happy that I became the sacrificial lamb for the people of Kenya. We will fix our country, and I want you to be comfortable in the knowledge that the darkest hour is just before dawn. Our dawn is coming. The mood in the country, people of Kenya have made a decision, and nothing can change that decision. In fact, it's only that it's far away. Ni mbali sana. 2 years is a long time. But we don't have a choice because we are democracy, and we don't want change through unconstitutional means. We want change through the ballot. So what we're asking is Kenyans to persevere, to be resilient, to be patient, and we'll make the change at the right time. I was worried before I came here that the level of impunity by the president is becoming dangerous because people are being killed every day. When we had Sabasaba, the government hired criminals to burn shops, to destroy property under police supervision. Policemen were shooting people without caring. Young children were killed, and the president did not care because there is nobody to ask him any question. And even when we complain, he doesn't care. I am very encouraged that through your efforts, the day before yesterday, the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator James Rich, tabled a bill in the House calling for a review of the status of Kenya as a non-NATO ally for several reasons. Among them, that William Ruto is working with the terrorist groups, most notably RSF of Sudan, where he is in gold business with Hemeti, and where Kenya supplies arms to go and kill children and women in Sudan. The Americans have complained that he has also been doing business with ALSHABAAB. The Americans have called for investigations on abductions, extrajudicial killings, use of police to attack civilians, and other violation of human rights. And within 90 days, an investigation will begin and a report to be made within 180 days. And there is real panic in Nairobi. I saw William Ruto today fumbling with words, trying to explain himself, but trying to digress from the real issues. He was saying that the Americans have a problem with him because he is having a relationship with China. And he is having a relationship with China because it's good for the country. But he's running away from the real issues. And because he follows me wherever I am, it is good for me to tell him why the Americans have a problem. Not just the Americans, the people of Kenya. The Americans have just heard the cry of the Kenyan people, and they are raising issues. William Ruto, aka Kasongo, please, the Americans want to have an investigation to unearth your business dealings with Hemeti of RSF in Sudan, where you are doing gold business, and in reciprocity supplying arms to the terrorist group to kill women and children in Sudan. You cannot run away with it because we have the evidence. I was your deputy when those meetings took place. I have all the details, and we are giving those details to the Americans. And we are right here in America. And much as you think we are stupid, don't just think we are just here, just moving around. We are also here to put the Kenyan case to the American government and to Congress and to the Senate. William Ruto, you need to know, the Americans want to know why you are working with Al-Shabaab. Why, when you are in Mandera, you met 3 leaders of the Al-Shabaab militia at night to discuss business with them. They want to know why. They also want to know why you have removed the requirement for vetting of non-Kenyans before they are given IDs. The Americans are concerned that suspected terrorists will be registered as Kenyans, and they will find their way to America and the rest of the world and create terror in the world. Your decision to suspend vetting of foreigners before they are given registration in Kenya is a threat to world security. And not just the Americans are concerned, Kenyans are concerned too. And this you must answer. You cannot endanger the security of the world because of your business interest. It is true you are doing business with Al-Shabaab, but you cannot endanger world security. The Americans also want to know why, against the Kenya Constitution, You have become the worst violator of human rights in Kenya. Why are you abducting young children? Why are you killing young children? Why did you abduct American, Turkey nationals of American origin who were abducted and disappeared? These are things that are in the radar of the American security system. You can play around with people in Kenya, but you cannot play with the American government. They have you on the radar. And the evidence is everywhere. And you cannot run away from it. So please, don't hide behind China. The issues you need to confront are well known to you. That you have compromised world security in pursuit of business interest. And this time around, you will not escape. You may push people around in Kenya. You may harass everybody in Kenya. But I don't think you have the capacity to harass the American government. And they have you under the radar. You can run, but you cannot hide. Your day is coming. I want to say that the evidence is there. The shoot to kill orders by Kipchumba Murkomen, he cannot deny. Your own order of shooting people in the leg, you cannot deny. So even if you get the PS for Foreign Affairs to issue statements, the evidence is everywhere. And you must be held to account. In fact, the other day when I was here, I was with some senior American leaders last Sunday. And we were watching live a meeting taking place in Muranga, where policemen were beating leaders and they were protecting armed goons. And these American leaders could not believe that it is possible for policemen to attack civilians. They could not believe it. They could not believe that policemen can escort gangs to beat civilian population. William RUTO, that evidence is here in America. And there's no way you can run away from it. And those things will come to light. On that matter, let me appeal to all of you. In your respective states, you have senators, you have elected, you have congressmen, you have elected. Please tell them about Kenya. Tell them to support this bill when it comes to the floor of the House. Give them details of what is happening in Kenya so that they are well informed, so that they can support the bill, so that a review is done. And our request to the American government and the American people, please don't punish Kenya because of the atrocities of William RUTO. Don't withhold military aid to Kenya. Don't withhold sharing of intelligence with Kenya. Don't withdraw all those facilities that come with that privilege of being recognized as an ally of the NATO states. All we are asking the American government to do, once you confirm all these concerns, help us. Don't have sanctions against the people of Kenya or our country. Please, just do the right thing. Impose sanctions on William RUTO as a person, never to come to America. And I think if he does that, that is our problem. Kenya should not suffer because of one person. Let's deal with the person. And I think if the government here can impose sanctions against him, that he cannot come to America and he cannot go to other states that work with America, our problems will be sorted instead of punishing the country because of the actions of one person. Diaspora people, you people are very important partner to any serious administration. In the 70s, coffee was #1 foreign exchange earner for our country. In the 80s, it was overtaken by tea. Tea became #1 foreign exchange earner for our country. In the 90s, both coffee and tea were overtaken by tourism, and it became #1 foreign exchange earner. But as we speak today, all those have been overtaken. The #1 foreign exchange earner for our country, Kenya, are remittances from the diaspora. It is you guys. You are the drivers of our economy. Our economy relies on you. It's the dollars you send home that we use to pay our public debt. It's the dollars that you send home that we use to import products from across the world. It's the dollars that you send home that are running our embassies. Hence, you are a very important stakeholder in the economic development of our country. For those of us who rear dairy animals, the dairy cow, for it to give you milk, you must look after it. And if you don't, it will refuse to give you the milk. You must give it hay, you must give it dairy meal, you must give it lucerne. Nowadays, at home, we are supplying mattresses for cows to sleep on so that they don't feel cold at night. And some farmers are going to an extra mile to make sure the cows are happy and they produce milk, of playing country music of Ken Rogers and Don Williams to the cows so that they can produce milk. The diaspora brigade is our dairy cow for the Kenyan economy. We must look after you guys. And there is no way you guys are going to send your own money home for Kasongo to steal it. You will not agree. So we must correct the situation. You guys want nothing to do with corruption. I have talked to many of you since I came, and all of you have allergy to corruption. Isn't it? In fact, everybody I've had a chance to speak, they are telling me when they come to the airport how they are treated. When they go to Nyayo House, the way they are treated. And you guys cannot stomach it. We must deal with corruption in Kenya decisively. And they say the fish rots from the head. The problem we have in Kenya is the president is a leader of corruption in the country. State House is a crime scene. There are Asians there with briefcases every day, and he spends all the time with them. Sometimes he would keep me there as deputy president for 5 hours as he is talking to Asians, discussing deals. For us to deal with corruption in Kenya, we must start from the top, and then we come down. You guys must bring your money back home. Our country should stop borrowing money from other countries and borrow from you because you have the money. But you can only give us the money if you are sure we'll give it back to you, and if it will be spent prudently for the benefit of the country. And those are the things that we want to form the government together, so that we can have very practical programs that satisfy what you want. I have said, and I said in Texas, that you guys, going forward, working with us when we form government, we want you to form a very strong diaspora bank for your money, for your investment here, with branches in Kenya and all over the world. You guys have sufficient capital to start a big bank, and you have the right personnel to run that bank professionally. And you see what will happen if you have a diaspora bank with branches in Kenya. all the properties you have bought in Kenya, you will use them as collateral to borrow money from that bank and invest here in America. But as it is today, all the plots and the land you have bought in Kenya cannot help you, because you are borrowing here from the banks here and they cannot accept Kenyan titles. Again, we need a discussion with you guys on how we vet developers and people who build houses for you and who sell you land, so that we eliminate the crooks who keep on conning you from time to time. We want to have a conversation that it is immoral and wrong to have double taxation. You cannot be taxed in America. After paying your taxes from your savings, you send money back home and then it is taxed again. That is a discussion we are going to have, so that the money you remit home must be exempted from double taxation, because you have already paid tax in your country of origin where you are working. We need to discuss, how do we encourage you to save at home? Can we have an incentive-driven package where we give you an interest rate that is higher than what you have here in America, so that you have the motivation to save your money back home, so that this money can be available for on-lending to other people and for government work, and your money is earning a higher interest than your country where you are working. So I'm saying, I have come to start engaging with you. I don't want to engage you when we form government. I want to start this engagement mapema. So by the time we form government, because we are going to form government, already we have a plan in place for implementation. And that is why I want to create a mechanism for engagement with you people the way we are engaging today, so that we have a way we shall be engaging, so that you tell us what you want us to do. We also benefit from your experience in a country that is working. Devolution here is working. You know, I was here last night, it was raining. When we came out, you cannot even know it has rained, because the drainage works. Kwetu ikinyesha hata hutaki kwenda nyumbani, because you are sure you need a mkokoteni to take you to your car. You know, we were here and it rained very heavily. By the time we went outside, you cannot even know there was rain. We need to learn from the best. And that brings me to the question of the involvement of diaspora in running government. It is my intention that we work together so that you are part of us and you become part of the decision-making process, so that we benefit from your experience in a country where things are working. To start with, the embassies across the world, it is my conviction that we'll get the best service, consular services, if you have people who have worked here in America for 30, 35 years running our embassies. Yes. Yeah? We would get the best investment opportunities if you have people who know what the Americans want in the embassy, because you know their strength, their weaknesses, their preferences, and where we can do business together. I mean, an ambassador serves for 4 years. So when you appoint a politician from Nairobi to come to Washington, he takes 1 year for us to know his way around here.
Exactly.
True?
True.
First 1 year.
Yes.
Where do I take my children to school, hospital, nini, 1 year imeenda. Second year, start making friends with the Americans here. Imeisha. Mwaka ya tatu, kujua Wakenya wanakaa wapi. Before he can even now start working, he is on his final year. Isn't it? But if you have somebody who has stayed here for 30 years, already who has a home, We simply walk to the office and start working without wasting any time. Ataletwa tu Nairobi, there is a course there, kufundishwa kukula na uma nini, already you know. Yeah? So even that course you'll be exempted. Sindio? You know, they come there, how to hold a wine glass, nini, what, table manners, nini. So you guys, those things you already know. Yeah? So nafikiri, you only come for that course for 2 weeks to understand your reporting mechanism. How will you be working with the PS? How will you be working with the president? Those are the little things mtafundishwa wiki mbili tatu. But all the other things here, you know. Isn't it? So it's my intention. And that is a promise I'll keep. Because it costs me nothing other than good manners to keep that promise. You guys are already here. You have the papers. Mumesoma. You know the place. You know your way around. You know how to use a fork and a knife. Sasa iko shida gani? There's no problem. Number 2, I have said, I also want you guys to come to the National Assembly and help us make good laws. Yeah? I want you to come to the Senate and help us make good laws. I want you to come to the county assemblies and help us make good laws on devolution. So, I want to appeal to you, wale munaweza, muende nyumbani, mupiganie viti. Lakini on top of that, we shall nominate one person from diaspora to go to the Senate, another one to go to the National Assembly. Yeah? And in the counties we are strong. At least every county assembly we have one person from diaspora to come and help us to make good laws for devolution. Because devolution is working out here. And we want to borrow from people who know. Again, we'll also want you to come and serve in the national government. Let us have 1 or 2 PSs, wako pale. Let us have a cabinet secretary, ako pale. Let us have people in parastatus. You guys have the necessary expertise and experience. And I think for any leader who wants to make a difference, it is foolish not to utilize the available capacity for the country. And you guys have all the necessary capacity to assist the president to run a country successfully. So these are things that we want to do, and we'll be able to help each other. Again, I said when I was in Texas that we'll have to add 2-3 consulates across this large country to help. I think asking everybody to go to Washington or Los Angeles is a bit too hectic. So we'll add 1 or 2 or 3. Again, we'll introduce mobile consular services so that we have people coming here for a month. They issue IDs, passports, they go to another state. That is something we can be able to do so that we make it a bit reasonable and cheaper for you to access consular services by bringing the services where you are. I am a strong believer. I am a very strong believer that it is our business to take the government to the people, not the people to the government. It is us to take the government to the people. We will bring consular services to where you are, because that is the right way to do things. So, mimi sitaki nisidishe hapo. I want to say, because I have found a few questions that have been written here, I'll go through them and I answer them, because I believe in participation. I don't believe like Kasongo in praise and worship. You know, the government he runs is praise and worship. We have some very funny characters there. You know, whatever they are told by Kasongo, I don't know what happened to their brains. If the MP for Kikuyu is told by Kasongo, go and insult Pastor Dorcas, anaenda anachukua microphone na mtukana. I saw another lady from Murang'a. anaambiwa na PA wa president, ana parade yeye mbele ya umati, anaambiwa asunguke. I don't know kama mliona. Ati huyu mama si ako sawa, si azunguke, muangalie vile anakaa. Anazunguka. Huyu mama si ukiwa naye kwa kitanda utaamuka vizuri. You saw that woman?
Yes.
You really wonder what happened to our leaders. Ni kurogwa ama ni ujinga ama ni zote mbili?
Zote.
Eh?
Zote.
I can't understand. I don't understand what has happened to our leaders. Somebody ameuliza sijui ni nani, what is the game plan? You are impeached, so you won't run or otherwise. Nani ameuliza hiyo? Somebody ameuliza hiyo? Let me explain. GACHAGUA is a presidential candidate, and nothing stops me from running. The Kenya Constitution says the right to vie for office is absolute, and you can only be stopped from running if you have been convicted, and even if you have been convicted, you cannot be stopped unless you have exhausted all the available mechanisms of remedy. Last year, 2022, the Honorable John Weluke, before the elections, was convicted for 74 years for theft. You remember?
Yes, we do.
And he went to committee and he was given bond pending appeal. He appealed to the Court of Appeal. And as the case was going on, the elections were there. And he went and ran and nobody stopped him because you can't. And he won. Later on, the appeal went through, the conviction was quashed. Had he been denied a chance to run because of the conviction by the High Court, and then later on, he is let to go, his rights would have been violated. I underwent a very shambolic exercise at the National Assembly and Senate. Everybody knows there was nothing. People were paid. MPs were paid 500,000, senators were paid 10 million, haraka, RUTO paid them. And we went to court under Article 50. And Article 50 says, no man shall be condemned unheard, and the right to fair hearing is absolute. I did not get a chance to defend myself in the Senate. I was in hospital. I did not present my evidence. So this is a matter that will be dealt with by the courts, and in the fullness of the time we shall be vindicated. In the meantime, the matter is in the High Court. It has not even started. If it is go to the High Court, depending on the way it goes, if I win, the state can go to the Court of Appeal, the matter proceeds there. If I win again, they can go to Supreme Court, or vice versa. Until those mechanisms are exhausted, the Constitution of Kenya guarantees me the right to vie for office, and there is no law that can stop me from vying. Yeah? So, in fact, I'm supposed to fight for the impeachment to be quashed, and then I go back to office. But I'm not interested. I cannot serve under Kasongo, because he's a pathological liar, and I'm a truthful person. Me and him working together is like trying to mix water and oil. I'm not interested in going back to the office. I just want my rights to be granted and to be proven innocent, because there's nothing I've done that is wrong, and I just proceed with my life. I have no intention of going back to office. Even if the courts told me to go, I will not go. I'm not interested. So I want to assure you, nothing stops me from fighting. And the people of Kenya know that. That's why you see I enjoy a lot of popularity, and I continue to seek for office. And God being faithful will get there. Now that you are teaming together, do you have a very strong candidate to face RUTO? Because we can't stand another 5 years of RUTO regime. Jackson. The second statement is true. We cannot stand another term of RUTO. Because if he is telling policemen to shoot people and he still wants our vote, what if we elect him and he doesn't need the vote? He'll shoot us himself. True or false? Yeah? Do we have a strong candidate to face William Ruto? What a question. Si niko hapa Jackson? Niko. We are there. Don't worry. We have a big team, and we have agreed between me, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Eugene Wamalwa, George Natebea, and Mother Karua, and anybody else who wants to join us, Ata or Mtata, whoever. Hatujafunga na hatuwezi funga. Kila mtu atafute kura zake. Tutakuja kuketi hapo nyuma. Tutoe mtu mo? One person. And me, I have committed publicly, and I want to repeat, that if that formula does not favor me, it favors Kalonzo or Matiang'i or Eugene or Mother or Natebea or whoever, I, regarding GACHAGUA, and my supporters will support that person unconditionally. Lakini Mungu akisaidia ikuwe ni mimi, hiyo mtu nitakimbiza yeye kama baisikeli ya kuibiwa. So, plan for the upcoming generation and Gen Zs in matters concerning unemployment is true. We've got a plan. William Ruto says we have no plan. We have a plan. It's only we don't want to bother with him. Because why does he want to know our plan? Our plan first is to remove him. You know? And you guys will play a role. The way to create employment for our country is to create manufacturing as a pillar of economic intervention so that we can create jobs and widen the tax bracket. And one of the ways to do that is to give incentives to direct foreign investors and even you guys. We can say, for example, anybody who starts a factory in Kenya, or a cottage industry for that matter, we can give you 5-year grace period not to pay any tax, so that we give you an incentive to come and start a factory home and create employment. And then we can collect money in the pay as you earn from the employers. So we have got a good plan that we must encourage people to come and start factories, to start cottage industries. Again, we want to do a lot of expansion in agribusiness in northeastern Kenya, in northern Kenya, by having water for irrigation, so that those farms become arable and they'll create a lot of employment. Again, we have a team of people now who are working on our manifesto, and in the fullness of time, we will be able to see what is that we have to offer. Banking for diaspora, I've already said. Health, food where using GMO, yeah. That thing was brought by William Ruto, and it's something that we are opposed to at home. We have our farms that we can do organic farming. We don't need GMO in Kenya. It is unnecessary, you know. And these are things that were done hurriedly without proper research, without looking what are the health implication and what is it for our country. Because we can produce enough food for our own consumption and surplus for export. We don't need to import GMO from America or from anywhere else. We'll do our own organic farming in Kenya. If elected, how do you deal with corruption? Paul Bogwa, I have said, we have to start from the top. And I think I have demonstrated to the people of Kenya that I'm not corrupt, and I cannot bed to corruption because I had the opportunity to do so. I was already on the eating table with William RUTO. He invited me, we eat together. I declined, and I lost a job for refusing to eat. So I don't think I can change. When I become president, I go back to the same table to start eating what I rejected. I think we want to live like America here. Live on your sweat. Just work hard, earn an honest pay, and live well and honorably and fulfilling life. If there is somebody here who wrote, I don't understand what he meant. Dicho, you said, if yes, how often do you check on each other? If no, since when did he become your enemy? John Dicho, what do you mean by that?
Occasionally, refer to President Ruto as your friend.
Refer to?
As your friend. Is this still your friend?
Who? You know what happens? You know what happens? Ruto, by the way, is not my enemy. He's the enemy of the Kenyan people. Yeah? What normally happens when you are talking at our level, you are just decent. You refer somebody as my friend, as my brother, but not necessarily because he's your friend. It's just etiquette. Yeah? It's just etiquette. I have no enemy. I have no issue. I am not vengeful, but I'm responsible. William Ruto is not my enemy. He's the enemy of the Kenyan people, and the Kenyan people will have to deal with him in a decent manner through the ballot. Yeah. So there is nothing personal. There are no hard feelings. It's simply about our country that we cannot allow it to go to the dogs, and we need to get rid of him. Why do we keep sending money so easily and yet we can't vote from the comfort of our beds using our gadgets? How come you keep on saying you understand the ground and yet when we want to run for a political position from here, it is a problem? How are you going to reconcile these issues? We'll have to develop our electoral process, but it takes time. The voting here is electronic. It's a democracy spanning over several hundred years. Our democracy is 61 years, 62. We keep on improving every day. We haven't yet reached there where we could go electronic. Mostly our people, the rural population, quite a bit of illiteracy and sub-illiteracy, but we are getting there. With time, I'm sure in years to come, we'll go fully electronic so that you can, as you say, food from your bed. Yeah, but tutaenda pole pole so that we get there. Again, we are going to lobby IBC to increase the voting polling stations here in the states, because as you have said, it's very expensive to go to Los Angeles, to go to Washington, to go to New York. IBC is independent. I cannot give a commitment in totality, but all I can promise is that we are going to lobby them to increase the stations. We have a very vibrant constitution, and when you were in office, some goons went to the Kenyatta's farm, but unfortunately nobody was apprehended and taken to court. What happened? Minor error is true. Kenyatta's farm was attacked. And some people were even trying to blame me. And I just kept quiet because Uhuru Kenyatta knows he was president of the Republic of Kenya. Issues to do with a retired president, his welfare, his security, his allowances, his travels are dealt with by nobody else other than the sitting president. There is nobody who could have attacked Kenyatta's farm without the knowledge and the concurrence of the sitting president. Rigathi Gachagua has never been president. Yeah? And it was something that was being done so that they can make us, the leaders from the mountain, fight each other. Yeah? His security was withdrawn, that of his mother, and they were trying to say, no, he's a deputy president who ordered the withdrawal of the security of President Kenyatta. How? There's nobody. Even today here in the US, matters to do with the former presidents will be dealt by the president himself. Even the Retirement Benefits Act for retired presidents is administered by the Controller of State House. Yeah? So what happens if Kasongo ever comes here? You direct that question to him. He'll be able to give you an answer. James Waite, how will the new Kenyan administration address historical injustices so that the country can move forward? It's true. I said yesterday in an interview that was done by Jerry that we already have a commission on restorative justice. And when we form government, we'll appoint a judicial commission of inquiry to inquire into the killings of the Gensis and other people who have been killed and harmed, so that those who did it can be brought to book and they can be given compensation. Peter Mongai, which formula will you use to select your flag bearer, considering the flag bearer must be acceptable? Hiyo sasa ndio kadi yetu. Tukitoa hiyo si tumeisha. So hiyo hatuwezi sema saa hii. But there will be a good formula, and I can tell you we'll come up with a good candidate. And we are not in a hurry. For now, our candidate is RUTO must go, and our plan is one term. Because if we announce our candidate now, Kasongo atatusumbua sana. Hata mwekea vikwazo na kumsumbua na kumutatiza. So wacha tukae namna hiyo. Our candidate for today is RUTO must go, and our plan is one term. Wacha angangane na RUTO must go, na angangane na one term for now. Yeah? And that's why he keeps on saying, where is your plan? So that he can start attacking it. Yeah? Hey, mimi napingana na nani? Unapingana na RUTO must go. There is so much looting of e-citizens, that one I've already answered. I've told you, you are asking what will happen about recovering money that has been stolen. This money will be recovered, I can tell you. You have seen agro-leasing that happened in 2003. The High Court has ordered that those people must be tried. So I want to put on notice those who are still stealing public funds, including what is being used by Soprano to bribe people, will have to be paid. Yeah, and this money will be recovered. What are you doing to mobilize voters to register for elections, especially the youth and the people who are here to register to vote? We just continue public education, advocacy, and appealing to them, and I want you to help me. Call home, find out whether your young brothers and sisters have registered, and urge them. We continue to do that, and asking our parents that if they don't register, that is a vote for Kasongo. So that we continue doing. What is the solution to be executed immediately after the government is removed from power? so as to save unemployment situation in the first year. Employment nimesema tayari. What is your vision to achieve more equitable distribution of resources and positions and overall more fair society? Resources must follow people. I believe in a very fair formula to distribute resources, with population being a very important factor, followed by poverty index, so that we have fairness and equity. So once we follow the principle of population as a basis for resource distribution, you get a lot of fairness. But we also take into consideration areas that have been marginalized and with a very high poverty index, so that they get some rebate, so that they are also not left behind. What are you guys doing to agencies into believing there is a plan beyond one term? Francis Chege, we continue to engage the agencies. This morning I talked to about 100 agencies on phone, and the agencies are aligned that we don't just want them to vote for us and we do things for them. We want them to be part of the decision-making process by coming to the table, so that we get solutions together. And I can tell you, they are believing us, because like when I fought for them, when RUTO was killing them, they believed me. Anytime I talk to them, they listen to me, because I've already demonstrated my respect for them and concern for them. Now the IBC commissioners have been put in place. How do you ensure elections not a repeat of 2022? That is Lucy. It's true. We continue to engage, and we'll create enough mechanisms to make sure that we have quality agents. The veracity of an election is determined by the quality of agents in every polling station. It's very difficult to interfere with an election, because when votes are cast and counted in the polling station results are final. That is where you must have good agents to make sure that all the activities around the polling station are above board. The rest in Nairobi is a purely mathematical exercise of adding numbers, but the polling station results are final. So what we are investing in is quality agents, and in my party, the DCP, I'll work with agencies so that they are very alert, and they can also assist us in documenting through their smartphone on Form 34A, so that the outcome of the results is well captured and stored. Thank you very much. I think those were the questions. Yeah. I think we have tried. Finally, we belong to the Citizens for Democracy, DCP, Democracy for the Citizens Party, DCP, and I invite you to become active members and support that party as your party by preaching its ideology and availing resources to support your party. I saw some fellows back home saying, oh, huyu mtu ameenda huko kutafuta dollars. Sasa hii chama yenu, mimi sina pesa ya kuiba kama Kasongo to run our party. Even here in America, all parties here, even the presidential election is supported by the members, isn't it? So we are also asking you to support that party, because we want a party that is homegrown, with support from its members, so that when we get into government, there are no businessmen who are coming to demand tenders to pay themselves for what they contributed. So please support the party. It's a good party. It's a national party. And it's not a mountain party. The deputy party leader is Cleo Malala from Kakamega. The Secretary General is Hezron Obanga from Kisii. The national chairperson is Paria from Kajiado. The deputy chairperson is Owino from Kisumu. The treasurer is Mwikali from Machakos. Deputy Secretary General is Ole Kamwaro from Narok. And like that. Again, out of 34 members of the National Executive, 9 are agencies. So we are well represented. It's a national party, and I want to request you to be very active here in Midwest. This is your party. We'll form the government together, and we are serious partners. And I want to continue with this engagement. I'll come again when I have sufficient time so that we spend more time. But I want to say I feel loved, I feel well taken care of, and I believe I have answered the issues that were concerned to you. Have I? Yeah? Can I ask Pastor Dorcas to come and say hi? Yes. I believe in very strong family values as the basis for a strong nation. And that is why I walk around with my wife, because you must lead by example. There is no way as a leader you'll say you believe in very strong family values and you don't lead by example. And many people who are uncomfortable of the support I'm getting back home from families, because families are supporting me because they are saying Ricky G has shown us he believes in strong family values. That is why they like Pastor not to be seen with me, so that I lose that advantage that I'm having from families. They are wasting their time. Yeah? So I'll continue, and I also want to ask you to have strong families as a basis of having a strong nation. Pastor Dorcas.